Heute heb ik mal een wichtige Nachricht voor die AfD. In Holland had Geert Wilders, een rechter, die Wahl verloren. Obwohl die eigenlijk gewinnen sollte, weißt? Die waren top of the, wie heißen die Dinge, Umfrage. Die waren top Umfrage. Die hatten top Umfragewerte. Und die hebben trotzdem verloren. Und ich denke, ich weiß warum. Und in diese Falle droht die AfD auch jetzt reinzugehen. Und deswegen mache ich heute dieses Video. So let's do it in English. As you know, my English is a lot better. I can explain a lot better and a lot more clearly in English than I can in German. So here we go. Last month, or at the beginning of this month, Geert Wilders' party in Holland, the PVV, lost the elections. They came in second instead of first, although they were projected to be in first place. And right now, we need all of the right-wing or conservative, whatever you want to call it, parties to get into power. We need to get the left out of power at all costs. They're dangerous, they're ideologically driven, and that makes them dangerous. And their ideas are, frankly, bullshit. Like, the only way that the left can get their ideas into political rule of law is by forcing their ideas down onto the public. They can't sell their ideas to us. They can't, they've tried it with climate change. They've tried it with COVID. They tried it with, the deep state shit. They've tried it with absolutely everything to try to convince the people that their ideas are the best ideas. And all the people have basically just said, nah, that doesn't sound right. So how can the PVV, Geert Wilders' party, even though he was the most popular, according to the polls, how can he still lose? Well, I've got one reason that I think is also going to affect the AfD here in Germany if they do not change course on this. And a lot of people are going to hate this answer, but it's the truth, right? Geert Wilders was a staunch supporter of Israel, right? And the problem with that is that the tide across the world, especially with younger people and the rise of the internet, the tide has changed against Israel, right? And all of the people that support Israel are all out there going, oh, but then you're criticizing, you're an anti-Semite, you're denying the Holocaust, it's Jew hatred everywhere. Yeah, no, there might be a little bit of Jew hatred, but really most of the people that have a brain are criticizing the Israeli government, right? I don't like the government of Ukraine, right? I don't like Zelensky. I don't like the people that are working for Zelensky. I don't like the fact that my money is going to Zelensky, right? But that I don't hate Ukrainians. You know what I'm saying? They got nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? So I don't like the German government where I live. Now, I am starting to hate the people a little bit just because they're voting for these governments where I live. So that makes a little bit of difference. But just because you criticize the government and what they're doing does not mean you hate the people. Right now, I don't think Donald Trump's doing real great either. Doesn't mean I hate American people. You know what I mean? So that's a big problem, right? And that these politicians on the right are traditionally, all through the decades, support for Israel has always been a right-wing thing. They've always been like, okay, well, they're the only democracy in the Middle East, and we need power in the Middle East, and they're helping us get power, and we need to pay them reparations, and we need to support them because of what happened in the Holocaust, and all of these things, both moral and political, that the politicians on the right just can't seem to let go, right? And I think what cost Geert Wilders in Holland his election is his staunch support for Israel. I think the younger people said, wait a second, we are just not going to vote for somebody that is going to continue to give our money to a warmongering state that is just slaughtering innocent people. Okay, now Donald Trump's kind of put an end to it. We'll see how far it goes. You know what I'm saying? But Israel's intentions are still clear, right? They want to get rid of everybody in Gaza, and they want to basically take it over. They want to annex the West Bank. They've been in control of that area for, like, I don't know, 1948 or something like that. I don't know the exact history. It doesn't really matter. They have been oppressing, I hate that word because the left uses it all the time, but they have actually been occupying is better. They've been occupying Gaza and the West Bank. They've been deciding what goes in and out, what people can do, where they can travel. There's no airport. There's no harbor. There's no real free trade between other countries. They can't come and go as they please. Israel controls the electricity and the water. They control the borders. So that's crazy, right? That's insane. That would be like, to kind of make it clear for the Germans that are all scared of Putin, that would be like Putin basically saying, okay, you guys can like run around Germany and shit, but if you want to do any trade, if you want to import or export, if you want to leave, if you want to see a doctor in one of our countries, in our country, because we've only got the only good doctors, then all that goes through us. So you're basically free in Germany, right? But anything that you do to make money, anything that you do to get food, anything that we control everything, right? So we basically are the government of Germany, even though you're Germans and we're Russians, right? That would not go well for long. Eventually people would rise up against that. So I am not saying that what Hamas did was good or the right strategy or the right thing to do. I'm just saying that if you occupy a whole group of people and basically stifle their ability to grow and thrive for 60 some odd years or some shit, that eventually somebody's going to fight back, right? That's what's going to happen. Okay, so whether you like it or not, what was coming on October 7th was coming at some point, no matter what, right? And whether Israel like kind of let it happen or the conspiracy, doesn't matter to me, right? Doesn't matter to me. The fact is, you can't just slaughter a whole bunch of innocent people that have nothing to do with Hamas. That's where I'm at, right? And if you support Israel, basically what you're saying is Israel got attacked on October 7th. They took hostages, and therefore that justifies absolutely anything. Right? It doesn't matter how many innocent people die. Doesn't matter how many kids are killed. It doesn't matter because Israel gets to do whatever it wants because of the Holocaust and because they were attacked on October 7th. So because the worldview is that Jews and Israelis have been persecuted for decades and blah, 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 that now gives them carte blanche to do whatever the fuck they want. And the younger generation and people with eyes and a brain aren't accepting that. We're like, no, right? And the problem for the right is, and this is the problem the AfD is going to run into, the problem for the right is that they traditionally support Israel. They think it's going to be politically dangerous not to support Israel. And they are refusing to see that even the people on the right, under them in their ranks, right, are saying, whoa, this is crazy, right? What Israel did in Gaza is madness, right? It's gone. It's flattened. Have you ever seen, look at drone footage of it. It's fucking completely destroyed. It's insane, right? And apparently there's these rules that we're all supposed to play by when there's war. Well, that means Israel kind of has to play by those rules. I think rules for war are kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? But the West are the ones that came up with these fucking rules. But the West is going, well, yeah, we came up with the rules, but the rules are for everybody else. They're for the Putins and the Maduros and the Xi Jinpings and the North Koreans, but not for us. We're the West. We can do whatever the fuck we want. And the fact is, because of the internet and because people are able to see everything now, the politicians can't hide behind lies anymore. That is making the world go, wait a minute. Now we're seeing how the cake is made here, and we're not down with this shit, right? We don't want wars. We don't want every one of our Western countries to be involved in fucking conflicts all over the world that have jack shit to do with us. We don't want our money going to it anymore. We don't want our soldiers, our boys and girls going to it anymore. We don't want our attention going to it anymore. We want those countries to figure out their shit. And we want to use our tax money for shit we need here. That's what we want. I bet if a lot of the country, I bet if the United States and Germany and all those places were not supporting Israel monetarily with tax money and letting everything they do go and supporting them and helping them, same thing with Ukraine, I don't think it would be that big of a deal for the people, right? But because they're looking at it through a moral lens, like, wow, that's crazy that the Israelis are just slaughtering a whole bunch of innocent people and bombing the shit out of this area, even though there's like 50% civilians living there and shit. That's madness. And it's even more crazy that we're paying for it at the point of a gun. I don't want to support that shit with my work, with my money, with my conscience. I don't want to be a part of it. It's not my fucking deal, and I don't want to be a part of it. But since you're forcing me to be a part of it, with my tax money and the attention to it and the constant politicians getting up on TV praising Israel and they can do whatever they want because of October 7th and blah, 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 blah. That makes me look at it. And if you're forcing me to look at it, I'm like, okay, well, this is bullshit. I don't want to pay for this, right? And most people with a brain are going in that direction. And Geert Wilders, I think, lost his election by standing on the support for Israel no matter what. And there are some prominent figures within the AfD here in Germany that are also on this same train. I'm telling you, your personal opinion about Israel doesn't matter. If you're a politician on the AfD side in this country, your personal opinion about Israel is not the point. What's important is how the people feel about Israel. And do the people want money to go to Israel? Do you know that Germany pays billions of euros every year just in reparations to the Jews? That's insane. I get that that was the deal in the beginning, like right after World War II. That makes sense. Germany owes them a little money, I think. You know what I'm saying? But I don't. And our whole generation really doesn't. You know what I mean? But they're just going to keep going. They're going to keep paying and paying and paying. How long? How long do I have to pay for the sins of other people? How long? Well, until the government decides it's been long enough. Well, they're never going to decide that because the government in Germany decides everything based on morals and emotions and feelings. You know what I'm saying? Your feelings is the most important thing in Germany for political decisions. Well, so that's never going to change then because, well, that's going to look pretty bad if, Germany pulls the reparations from the Jews. That's going to look pretty bad. So they're never going to stop that. So that means in perpetuity, I'm going to be forced to fucking pay forever for reparations for something Hitler did in a country I wasn't even fucking born in. You know what I'm saying? That's insane. That's insane. And a lot of people are feeling that. So the AfD, guys, I know I'm just a truck driver with like barely any following and I just yell into my phone. I get it. Cool. But if any of you all are listening to this, if you want to win, which we want you to win, you know what I'm saying? We really do. We need you to win the next elections. But please keep your mouth shut about Israel. Make it so that we don't have to pay for it anymore. Run on that. Run on, look, we've supported Israel all our lives. That's okay, you know what I'm saying? But they have now overstepped. They are now showing that, hey, they're not really paying attention to the rules of law, the rules of war, et cetera, et cetera. And we cannot force our citizens to pay for this, to support it. So we're not going to do that anymore. Yes, I hope Israel goes good. I hope that the people thrive in Israel. I hope that everything goes well in Israel. But we are not going to be involved in Israel's politics anymore. That way you can save face as a person, still be the moral righteousness person, but you're doing what's right for your country and your people. You are not going to be there. If we vote in the AfD, we are not voting you in so that you can put Israel first. We're putting you in there so that you can do Germany first. And as soon as you start talking about Israel, people go, oh, fuck, man. You know, it looks like these fuckers are going to pay more attention to Israel than they are to us. And so stop that. I'm telling you, this is why Geert Wilders lost in Holland. And this is a risk that they will lose here in Germany. I get that it's harder for the Germans. I get that it's hard. It's going to be hard. It's going to be, in their minds, risky as politicians in Germany to say, okay, we've got to drop the support for Israel. I know that they're going to be scared. It's going to be a gamble for them. They're going to be like, wow, I'm German. You know what I'm saying? If I publicly come out and denounce Israel or stop the support for Israel, maybe everybody in Germany will hate me and I'll never get voted in again. I don't think that's the case. I think it's the exact opposite. I think that people do understand and are tired of supporting all these wars all over the place, especially this war with Israel, because of the fact that they have just way overstepped what is rational in the response to October 7th. And we all know it. We all see it. There's still no journalists allowed in Gaza to report on the fucking deal. Israel is not letting them in. They haven't throughout the whole war. Why is that then? You know what I'm saying? Why is that? That's weird, right? And everybody that says, well, because they want to, they're afraid the journalists are going to get killed. Hold up. That's up to the fucking company that sends the journalists. And they're insured for shit like that. And since I've been a little kid, I've seen journalists reporting from war zones. So please, don't give me any of this shit like this is a new thing that we're asking for journalists to be allowed in Gaza to kind of report on what's going on. It's not a new thing, okay? So, guys, AfD guys, I get it, but you've got to be the anti-establishment populist party and populist politicians that we are expecting when we vote for you. And I am hoping that people are finally woken up enough to vote for you in the next election. So make sure that you have absolute majority so that you can get things done, because the establishment politicians aren't going to get shit done. We know it now, right? But this could be a problem. As we saw in Holland, Geert Wilders should have won. He didn't win. I think the reason he didn't win is because of his staunch support for Israel. And you guys have got to let that go. Again, I'm just some truck driving dumbass, right, that screams into my phone, right? I could be wrong, but I don't think so. You know, start asking around, get down to the people, start visiting people in their local areas, and start asking them about this then. And I will tell you, the younger generation is going to say, we don't want war, we don't want to support other people's wars, and we don't want to support Israel slaughtering a bunch of innocent people in Gaza, no matter what happened on October 7th. That's the answer you're probably going to get, right? So as hard as it's going to be, and as difficult as it's going to be to pivot and change the tune, right? That's what the AfD politicians that are in higher spots, that are going to be elected, they're going to be in the government, that's what they're going to have to do just to make sure that they solidify their win. You want to get as many people on your side as possible, and being a supporter of Israel is a losing trajectory. It's a losing strategy, okay? And again, just a truck driver. So do with that what you want, guys. That's where I think we're headed. And I don't want anything to take the AfD off the winning course. So this is why I made this video. Anybody that's in the AfD, if you're listening, please think about it. Anybody that's watching this that knows somebody in the AfD, please give it to them and let them think about it. This is very important. I think it's going to be a critical thing when election time comes around. All right, guys, take it easy. That's all I got for today. Peace out.